Apparently so. Alrighty, pretty similar comps. So typically what I'll do in faster tanks is I'll go over to this area to get some free damage on taking the hill. I've always said in the stream, if you've ever watched me play this map on the stream, that I don't really feel like this area is incredibly strategically important, but a lot of people like going there, so I like making them pay for it in blood, and I think that that's a good thing. So it's easy to come over here, get a few shots of their guys going up, and then you can go pretty much elsewhere. This is not a very good light tank map in general. You can also potentially go up into this area here and spot those guys crossing, but I don't necessarily feel that that's as fruitful. You have to go up over on that side over there in order to do that. Now I guess you can spot these guys coming through the middle. Well, I don't know really how much that helps. Like you could have done that exact same thing probably from those bushes right there and not gotten lit. And then you kind of just want to keep an eye on what your team is doing. You send about half this way and about half to the back that side. Again, you're not really going to get super great shots here, although I say that as this stirrer drives across the middle. You're never going to get shots on him because when he comes out of the rock on the other side, there's another rock blocking him. One of the things that I feel is underplayed is people taking this path right here. You've got a bunch of people in a head-on confrontation around that side. You don't really have a whole lot of numbers on that other side in general. Typically, you don't want to spend this much time in one area as a light tank unless you're getting a lot of spawning damage or dealing a lot of damage yourself. If nothing is happening, you need to relocate someplace else where you can do either spawning damage or actual direct damage. And you can really, like, you could bully that 2801, you can do a lot of different things potentially. Your IS-3 is pushing up through that middle area there, which I don't feel is super fruitful. I wouldn't even worry about the super pershing, just kill the leopard. And again, that's a tank that you can bully. So you're being a little bit too, I don't know. You're acting like that super pershing is gonna fly up that middle. Like it should not have been that big of a deal for you to stop that guy. Just like you can still push this VK2801 over here. Like you're playing a little bit too much like I've got an important gun and I'm gonna do important things with it. Yeah, you've got a decent gun that you can clip people with, but you gotta have it be active. Right now you're just there's too much driving around while not actually helping your team in any way. Like, you don't need to be the frontline guy, but you do need to have your gun be more active than it currently is. Well, you're using a single shotgun, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, it goes back to the activity. You need to be active. That 2801 is still alive. You should just go and kill him, right? You're not really helping these guys on the hill. You're not really helping these guys over here. These guys are pushing over there. You're shifting over this way. Yeah, I don't think you want to deal with the IS-3. Like if you were gonna help over here, I really felt like you could have done it earlier. He's on the other side of that rock. You can theoretically push him because his IS-3 is pushed north and they've got a bunch of their guys over on that other side. You just want to do something rather than nothing. Oh, the IS-3 came back. Okay, you do not want to be on this side. Yeah, you just want to bail. Just bail. No, just like go off the hill. Like people play this hill like it's of some strategic importance, and it's just not. Like you don't get very good shots on the rest of the map. And when the shots that you do get, there's multiple angles of fire that come back on you, which is not what you want. And you don't want to sit here and try to front against this IS-3. Like, if you want to do anything, you would push around the back. But again, this is a matter of activity, right? If you see a matchup that you don't like, you need to go someplace else. And this 2801 has been allowed to live way, way too long. He's gonna burn down. And at this point, you gotta do something though. Like, I don't feel like playing this middle is really helping you out that much. Like, push over down by your little T-37 corpse over here and help get what this Remember, he's got a clip. And you don't want to be so, like, it would have been much better for you to be over here shooting back at that guy, because you want to create a situation where there's 1-2s. You don't want everybody on the same side as him, because those guys will... Even now, like, you're backing up, you should be pushing forward over here. You need to create that 1-2 scenario. There you go. Perfect. That's exactly what you want. And then again, understand what you're afraid of. You want to go back out this way, probably. This super Pershing is going to come up either this way, this side, or this side, but he's definitely coming through this middle. The T-29's on the other side. Okay, the super Pershing's over there, so you have an opportunity to clear out the artillery. And it's usually best to just come around through there like that. You want to be able to take out the artillery in this case. Like, the FE-304 is presumably further forward on that side. Like, there's no reason for you to pursue this super Pershing right now. You want to clear out that artillery. Again, you're like wasting too much time doing nothing right now. Like, it would have been far more constructive for you to take out the artillery there. I don't know what their super Pershing is doing, but the FE-304 is shooting at the super Pershing, it looks like. And now you're running away. Which, I mean, you don't want to face the super Pershing frontally, but you didn't really have to face the super Pershing frontally. That's something that you chose to drive, you know, halfway across the map to do. And you can take a hit. You don't want to shoot him frontally. Again, remember, you're a fast tank. Use that speed. And then again, it's probably best now, rather than take the T-29 on frontally, to actually just go and kill their artillery. So you know that the FE-304 is probably in that area right there. Like, there's no reason for you to be sniping now. Because really, the T-29 isn't really a threat to the super Pershing. The only real threat to the super Pershing is if the artillery hits them in the side. And again, you know where the FE-304 is at. Alrighty. And again, the 304 is probably in that area right there. Oh, and the SP got you. Be sad. You know what would have been cool is if one of your teammates had killed the arty, like when they had an opportunity to. And this is unfortunately a little bit of a bad situation for the Super Pershing. Well, the Super Pershing. Run for your life! Run! Whoa. Anyhow, so the biggest problem was that you spent too much time in this middle in the early game just kind of hanging out, not doing anything, not getting any spotting damage, not getting any direct damage, not really stopping their team from doing anything. You were just kind of hanging out, like you were spectating, you know, you were just doing just hanging out a little bit too much. And then you got your gun more active later in the game, but you don't want to wait until you're losing and then be like, all right, let's put on the big boy pants now and try to lift this out of the trash can. You know, you want to be involved a little bit earlier on, whether that's keeping your guys up here alive a little bit earlier, or doing whatever it is that you can to actually, like that 2801 that was just hanging out over here, just driving literally through your team, circles around your I forget which heavy it was that was over there, and just go and kill them. You know, just there's tanks on this map that you can bully. Just go and bully them, and don't allow yourself to play so passively. And then once you guys sort of won through that hill area, which was, you did a good job against that IS-3 when you eventually got to the backside and got them in a 1-2s, which creates a good opportunity for your Super Pershing and for that 3002 or whatever it was, the other tank that was up there, right? And that's what you want to create using your speed, is to get to those flanks, get to the rear, and create an opportunity for your team to get easier shots. And then it would have been really easy, especially when you know that the T-29 was over here, and once the Super Pershing was identified over here, it's not like the Super Pershing is going to chase people down. You should have gone through, cleared out the artillery, cleared out the entire back line, and then just sort of, you could have sniped at these guys from the back, because it was really the artillery that killed your team. And you allowed it to happen. You basically took 30 seconds to drive all the way back here to not deal any damage to the Super Pershing, and then another 30 seconds where you drove all the way down here and then drove all the way back, and then you got shot by the Super Pershing before you even got a single shot of damage on him, right? And it's not like that wasn't really productive for you at all. You spent a lot of time to not do a lot of damage to the Super Pershing. Didn't really save any of your guys. That Super Pershing was not very good. Your T-69 just kind of sat there behind him the whole game. But yeah, you need to have better decision making when it comes to that. Again, one of the things that you need to think about is that, especially in that end game, you're the fastest tank on the map. You are the one who dictates when the engagements occur, where the engagements occur. Because if you don't like the situation that you're in, you just leave it. What are they going to do? Right? It's not like this super person is going to chase you down, right? He can't do anything to stop you from leaving an area. He can't do anything to stop you from spotting him from a distance, taking a couple snapshots or sniping shots, and then backing off some more, right? He can't stop you. None of those tanks can stop you. And so one of the things that we try to talk about a lot in the stream is identify which tanks are really hurting your team. Identify which tanks have the capability of giving you problems. That super person was not going to be a problem, given the position that he was at, but also given the fact that you had tanks coming back to get him. It would have been much more constructive for you to go through and clear artillery. But otherwise, I mean, I still think you probably should have won. Your super person didn't play that very well, but again, you had multiple chances to make different decisions that would have won you the game. And I think that's sort of the bottom line that we want to get to when we talk about these replays. All right, so if you look at the stats, not bad. Neither team did awesomely well. You did eventually get 31 shots out, I mean, of 18, but I mean, it was a really long game, and you spent, I don't know, the first third to half of the game not really doing a whole lot. And yeah, as a top tier tank, you need to be a little bit more aggressive than that. Anyhow, GG, nice try. Alright, and next will be Norwegian Ninja's E50M on Highway. Alrighty, pretty similar comps, 3RD to 2RD. Again, you know, just like we were playing a little bit earlier tonight, particularly in the E50M, I would still play this line over here. You can bully a lot of these quote-unquote heavies. They really just have the E75 that has armor. A lot of it you kind of have to watch and see. Alright, small crash, but alright, looks like we're back in business. Alright, and then anyhow, so as I was saying, if you're pushing up through this field side, you just want to be a little bit careful that you're not going to dilly-dally over here. There are some buildings over here, but you'll eventually want to push forward. And you can push forward on this 2-line here. You do have a Bulldog in the middle. You want that guy to be under the bridge, not necessarily on that side of it. But you don't want to sit here and snipe too much. You want to actually take this ground up here as soon as you can, assuming that they don't have a strong defense. So they do have a PTA on that side, but again, that's not that big of a deal. You're worried about are those tank destroyers sitting on the hill behind them. And again, like to attack into this area, it's much easier to attack from down here, because that way any tank destroyers that are up there don't, you know, get a whole bunch of shots on you. Sitting on this hill is fine. You actually want to sit a little bit lower on this hill, like maybe 5 or 10 meters to the east here, just because this guy's not going to light you, and that'll give you free shots on this guy without worrying about getting arty. And so a lot of that is just it's simple micro positioning, you know, understanding where the sight lane is that's lighting you and making sure that you can do it. So you know that they don't have a whole lot here. You guys have already busted through. So again, this is a time limited thing, right? You have an opportunity to get through here. They have a reasonably fast team though, so you can't necessarily just bulldoze them here. Their team is pushing up through this area a little bit, which is good for them. You want to be a little bit more aggressive here in terms of getting your actually dealing some damage. I mean, you fired a lot of shots, but a lot of them are just snipey long distance. I'm hoping that this is going to hit shots. Like, this needs to happen a lot faster than it is right now. You've got a mass of guys there, but see how far back you are? You can go back, but at this point, it seems like you'd be better off clearing this out. You do have a little bit of speed advantage. They do have an RU that can clear out your artillery, but there's not going to be a whole lot that you can do to stop that. You want to be careful crossing this bridge from this side, because again, these guys over on this side here can shoot you pretty easily. And you're still not going to catch up to the RU. And then now you're a little bit committed to the defense, which, oh, look, you got shotgunned anyways. So now what you need to do is just set up over here, hope that your guys win over here, and that you can slow them down over here, because you're going to lose over here. It's just a matter of how badly. And again, so this is the problem with your plan, or not necessarily the plan, but the execution so far is that, you know, 3.5 minutes have gone by. You drove out here, you drove down here, you drove out here, you drove over here, then you drove over here, and you know you've dealt a grand total of 2 shots of damage, which is not helping your team. Like, you need to start applying some damage someplace, either to slow these guys down or to kill these guys over here. That was a nice shot. Get that E75 out, ram the IS-3. Get the E75. Oh, you had a shot on the E75. I don't know why you're fixating on this IS-3 that's on this back line over here. Should have killed that E75. And then push that 430. All the buildings. You actually want to not ram them there, just because you can get artillery. Their artillery is still active, although presumably they shifted over a bit. Unfortunately, your guys are going to die there before you can do anything about it. And then now you actually need them to separate out a little bit. You don't have a very good comp here. So you actually probably want to play closer to like the bridge area. You're not going to get any shots here. You can push through here, because you can still spot this area first. All of their tanks are back. But you need to spot the way in. You're going a little bit too laterally. You need to be over here spotting into this area, because if they push up here, you want to know it before they're all up in your business. And then you just need to watch your JPE over here. No, ignore those guys. Move towards your JPE. Oh, too late. Okay, now don't ignore them. Don't ignore them now. I would actually get the 50. Oh, wow, that worked out. And then you need to get into that area right there. Although I guess you got trapped, so that'll happen. Oh, not going to be loaded in time. You just want to push him. Just push him aggressively, because that's Action X is still behind you on the little hill. Oh, nice. I guess the Action X wasn't behind him on the hill. Something was shooting you with heat from behind. Oh, I thought it was heat. Oh no, it was the other guy, the 50-51 was shooting you with heat from the front, which I guess. I don't like the heat shells on the 50-51. And then really, you just need to try to get as close to this guy as possible. You don't want to try to trade with him from a distance. Just drive straight at him right now. So just drive straight at him, oh man! Close that gap! Close that gap! Too far away. That worked. Alright, and then you just go and find the arty. Basically what I'll do is drive back towards the cap. You can choose to cross the bridge if you want, it doesn't really matter too much. But you basically want to close the gap. And you should be able to shoot HE at this guy. Let's say 60. Oh no, maybe not. And then the first thing that you want to do is check this gap right here. Oh, don't stop, my man! Fear is the mind killer. He should be more afraid of you than you are of him. I don't know why you think that peeking and poking is going to be a better trade for you than actually moving your tank quickly. And so you've got a 30-second window now, so you fired at about 420, so that means you've got until like 350. Lol. Anyhow, you probably could have won this game. I don't know. Again, a lot like the last map, it felt like you drove around a lot more than was necessary. It felt like you guys had an opportunity to clear them out over here. Your team didn't do a good job because they all came to the same side. There wasn't anybody that put any pressure through this three-line side, which is a big problem. And that's something that you could have done. So you could have really made the difference there. Instead, you basically wasted a lot of time driving back, and I think that was a big problem because you guys did have the speed advantage. You just all you had to do was win this area, and then all of these guys over here are pretty much irrelevant because they weren't really getting to your base fast enough, and you could have done that. But again, I don't know necessarily that you would have made the difference here, but I certainly think that you could have, and it's certainly better than just sort of driving around doing nothing. Like a lot of times, once you drive so far up here, you're pretty much committed to offense. Just try to see it through, unless it's obvious that their team is winning this side faster. Like if they're already done with your guys over here, and you guys weren't even finished with these guys over here, then okay, yeah, you got to go back. But you guys already had numbers up here, right? And they were driven back into their base while you still had guys alive over here, right? And in that case, I say try to make sure that you win this, because you actually ended up winning over here, which is great. I mean, that's fantastic. But that didn't win you the game, right? The game was won or lost over on this side, in my opinion. And don't peek and poke against Artie. It's always bad. Alright, so if we look at stats, Neither team did spectacularly well. Although your GW Tiger B did pretty well. Oh well. 13 of 20 is not so good, but a lot of those were pretty snipey-dipey long distance. And the E50M has a pretty accurate gun, but again, especially in a comp like this, you are the armor tank in for your team, and like you shouldn't. Well, you and the E75 are the armor tanks for your team, and so you're probably going to have to be the guys that'll be a little bit more frontline. But not bad. GG, nice try. Alright, and the next one will be Burnt Ice on Mines. Alrighty, they don't really have a whole lot that can compete with you up here, so you do want to drive up here. You will be loaded, which is the nice thing about the 50-51. And of course, as you're driving up here, you want to take a glance at the map and see what support you're actually going to get. Well, there's not a whole lot there that can compete with you, and you just kind of hope that you don't get hit by arty. Your CDC is going up, so you don't even have to be the brave one. No, go! Don't do it! Don't! So, like, you'll see a lot of people hide behind this rock. It is really easy for me to hit you behind that rock. That rock is not safe. So you gotta keep that in mind. Let's see how all of your guys wussed out there. Even now, you could push it. Even now, you could still push it. Look, your 1390 is going. Even now, you could still go. Like, you can go right now. Although it looks like your 1390 is going to take care of business, which is good. Maybe he's going to take care of business. They've got a lot of guys up here still. And again, you want to be really careful here because it's really easy to hit that area with artillery. Like, this is not a very strong position. You do have the hill though, which is good. And they are giving you free damage, which is good. But you are not very safe. This is an illusion of safety because you haven't been wrecked yet. And so you've traded really well on the hill, which is good news. The bad news is that these guys are all just sitting out in the open. And you're not really getting very good shots, considering the exposure that you have. Look at your 1390 getting after it. Don't get yourself killed, 1390. You need to stay alive. Like, these are not very good shots that you're getting here. Your guys are down over here, which is fantastic, because these guys can actually get really great shots up here. So you guys have good map position. It's just you're not in a very good position to do a whole lot. I mean, even if you were on the other side of this rock from this E4, that would be a better position than where you're in right now. This is a problem. I see how all of your guys are just sitting back here out in the open. I bet this Panther 2 is getting some work done, because he's got the straight shot at the rears of these guys over here. Not that the Panther 2's got a lot of DPM, but the point is that you could be in that. You could be someone in that. But you should shoot for this drive wheel there. You want to track him out there, force him to either burn a track or die. That was a good shot. They're pushing out on these guys now, so the fun times are about to end. Again, like, none of your team is really in a super great position. See how nobody even helped this guy up here. So now they're retaking this land here. Now what you don't want is for them to get too far forward on this side. Because again, what they can do is fire right into this area that you're in right there. Like, this is just far too static of a play. You want to let that IS-7 go about halfway up and then take him down. Although he doesn't really need to, because your team is still... Well, these guys that were sitting out there are mostly dead now. Oh, look, guys sitting out in the open for you. That's a good sign. You should actually probably just push him at this point. Ruh-roh. You need to find the T-57. You need to find the T-57. Oh, the bounce. Like, the T-54 can only shoot you once. It's the T-57 that really that's gonna hurt you. Unfortunately, this game is not long for the for this world. No, don't run out there. At least let your at least let your spot drop. See how that ISM is basically in that same position that you were, and see how easy it is for you to get shots on him. It's difficult to push up this side now because you don't have a whole lot of recourse. No. Run like the wind. There's gonna be a 704 up there. I would see if you could take out this 704. He's gonna be looking this way, but... well, presumably. If not, go kill the arty and then taunt your enemy to come off the cap and kill you. I guess everybody else bailed. Taunt thine enemy. You want to get away from where you can get shot from that top of the hill. You know that most of them are coming back at you because there's only one on cap. You do want to start heading back towards your cap though. And again, remember it's you can go either through this side over here or this side over here, depending on how many guys they have on cap. Ruh-roh. I don't think you're gonna make it across here. Oh, unless he misses. He rushed his shot. Oh, there's a 704. Yeah, he didn't miss. Yeah, so, I mean, going up here is sort of fine. Again, I don't think hiding behind this rock is super constructive. You had an opportunity to take the hill. Your team still had an opportunity to take the hill. Everybody punked out except for your 1390, and your 1390 did take the hill. Taking the hill in this type of game is incredibly important because it makes all of these guys honest right here, and all of your guys are basically camped back here not doing a whole lot. You spent way too much time over here. You got some early damage on the guys going up the hill, which is fine, and but you didn't make enough of an impact behind that rock. You were just sitting there a little bit too much. And again, remember that rock is a really exposed area that, depending on how their artillery plays it, it's fairly easy to hit behind it. If they control the island, then they can get shots on him. Your team actually cleared down through here. It would have been more constructive for you to actually go all the way back, come over here to where this Panther 2 is at. This Panther 2 is probably getting fantastic shots at these guys up here and was doing a lot more than you were. And that's something where you could have also helped them from getting counter-pushed there as well. You don't need to go quite as far forward as where this Panther 2 went. All you got to do is be back in this area over here. Typically, artillery cannot hit in this area over here because artillery tends to play either in the base or on this side over here, neither of which can hit over here. The only time they can hit on that side is if they actually leave the base, which they basically need control of the hill to do. And so that would have been more constructive. There was just far too much time where you were just kind of hanging out behind that rock. And eventually your team just wilted, and that was that. And it's like there was just too much left for you to actually kill. You need to exert that difference a little bit earlier, I think, if you want to have a different outcome in this game. Alright, so if we look at the stats, oh man, that Panther 2 only did 500 damage. He only had 4 shots. He was there for a while. I'm surprised that he wasn't able to get more damage on the rear of that E4 or the IS-7 or the T-10 or the WZ-120, all those tanks that were just sitting up there. And again, remember, that's sort of the vulnerability of... Hang on, let me pull this down. That's the vulnerability of this area right here, is that if they control the island right here, just get wrecked. Just get wrecked. Because they can just sit here all day and just shoot you in the rear. And so these guys by default have to pull back down over here. Unfortunately, your guys were not exerting that type of pressure on them. Yeah, overall your team didn't do a whole lot, which doesn't help. Again, a lot of them were just sitting behind you, which is not the position that you want to play. You don't want to play the position that you were in, but you don't want to play that position further back either, just sitting out in the open, because eventually you're just going to get whittled down. Their team did not have good position given that your team controlled the island, but your guys just couldn't make them pay for that, and that was a huge problem. But overall, you did well with your shooting, which is good. Again, I just feel like it was too little too late. GG. Nice try, though.